To sit down at a chessboard today is to face an intimidating library of theory. There is the Ruy Lopez, the Sicilian defense, the Trompowsky attack, and even the Bong cloud. Beginners often treat these openings as a grueling test of rote memorization, trying to drill thousands of distinct variations into their heads. But in his complete treatise on chess openings, Wu Heng Quan proposes a different rule: never memorize variations. Understand the ideas driving them. These hundreds of named openings form a chronological timeline of human strategic evolution. This library of theory acts as a fossil record, mapping the progression of human intellect through three distinct eras of strategy. The first era is defined by the open game. White moves their king's pawn 2 squares forward, and black responds by pushing their own king's pawn to mirror the move. This is chess at its most confrontational. Both sides try to occupy the physical center of the board through sheer force. As theorists spent centuries analyzing these immediate clashes, they noticed a structural flaw in relying entirely on symmetrical aggression. This chart tracks the historical king's gambit. White sacrifices a pawn on move 2 to rip the center open. The data shows this opening concedes a 45% win rate to black. Aggression without a solid structural foundation proved ruinous over the long term, forcing players to develop a new way to wage war. Players began refusing to copy White's first move, giving rise to semi-open games like the Sicilian and French defenses. Black accepts an early space disadvantage, creating an asymmetrical board framed by an interlocking diagonal pawn chain. White counters with the closed game, gridlocking the center. This shifts combat to positional wars of attrition, competing for geometric mastery over the outer edges. This era reached a peak of solidity with the Queen's Gambit declined. By fortifying the center rather than attacking it, this system achieves a 44% draw rate in modern theory. Chess had transitioned from a chaotic battlefield into a structural siege. But the pursuit of an absolute advantage prompted one final, counterintuitive leap. This brought theorists to the third era, flank openings, which include the English, the bird, and the ready. These systems rely on hypermodernism, abandoning the practice of placing pawns directly into the center squares. This visualization shows the hypermodern paradox. Players still want to control the center, but they use pieces positioned on the outer edges to exert remote control over the empty middle. Strategy moved toward a physical retreat from the center line, replacing brute force occupation with geometric influence. We have tracked the path from head-on brawls to locked positional trenches and hypermodern remote control. The text argues that every opening eventually funnels into the same core middle game logic. That logic centers on 3 questions. First, where are the structural flaws in your opponent's setup? Second, what are the specific geometric key squares that your minor pieces must occupy? And third, is your attack on the flank faster than your opponent's? Knowing the historical intention behind your opening allows you to answer those 3 questions naturally, without relying on rote memory. The first 20 moves of a game are the result of centuries of intellectual evolution. Understanding that history is what allows you to successfully play the next 20.